Stop scrolling. What if I told you this box can push 12.8 terabits per second? That's 1.6 terabytes every second. Enough to stream hundreds of thousands of 4K movies at once. This is not your average switch. This is 400G of pure power. And today we are going to open it. This is the Edgecore AS9726 Family, a switch built for places where networks are pushed to the edge, where performance, scale and control decide if your fabric lives or dies. It looks like one box, but it is actual two. Same shell, but not the same story. One is the AS9726 32dB, the other the DBS, with that small letter at the end that change something. Both come armed with 32 high-speed ports, but the question is, what kind of speed we are really talking about? And why do some of the most significant workloads in AI and hyperscale DCs rely on this exact model or models? Stay with us, because the deeper we go, the more it makes sense. Okay, before we will open it, let's talk about some general things. We have two airflow versions, front to back and back to front. Two power setups, AC or DC. And to give you a real picture, today we got both airflow types on the table. Maybe not right on the table, because in other case you won't see me, but we will open two boxes. The difference will be in the handles. Red mean front to back and blue mean back to front. Simple detail, but it decides cool, rack or sauna. We will focus on the AC version today. If you want another version, just go to our webpage or just leave a comment below. And which model you would like us to open first? Don't answer yet, you might change your mind. I know what you are thinking. This guy is talking too much. Open that box. So, can we do it? Let's do it. Here we go! Two switches, packed like power tools, ready for work. Almost ready. Both boxes, but with the same accessories. So, let's start with talking about what's inside, but we will start with that accessories. So we have here a rack kit, brackets, ears, screws and locks to mount it in your cabinet. Then we have two power cords. This is for AC version. Console cable, RJ45 to DE9, old school, always handy. DC power cable, okay, not here because it is AC version, but you will find it in DC version. Grounding wire, boring until you need it. You need it from the beginning, so it is important. Documentation, quick start and safety, plus one or even two extra. We have port dust covers, not on the list, but they are here. And also we have two mounting brackets for your cabling. So the gear looks the same, but the real difference is inside. So are you ready to talk in details about these beauties? I can be honest, that two switches looks the same from outside. They have the same switch silicon, which is a Broadcom Trident4-X11. Not brute force like Tomahawk 4 or 5, more like Scalpel, precision and control. Let's break it down. Here what the AS9726 32dB brings to us. 32 400G QSFP-DD ports all on the front. That's 32 lanes of pure throughput. Perfect for spines, super pines or high bandwidth fabrics, where every port counts. So at the front we have also three very important ports like USB port, RJ45 console port and one G management port. Think of it as your cockpit on the day one, the place where you first take control, configure and bring the system to life. So we can see what is at the front. So what is inside? we have up to 12.8 terabits per second switching capacity. That's 12.8 terabits per second and around 5.33 billion packets per second forwarding. That's 5.3 Bpps. Put simply, a highway so wide you will never see a traffic jam. So, what's more, we have Intel Pentium D1519 quad-core CPU, not a gaming rig, but for a switch, this brain handles management, control plane tasks and services with ease. Then we have 2x16 GB DD RAM and 64 GB SSD M2 disk. Plenty of memory and storage to run telemetry, logs and automation tools without running out of room. I know what you think. Software. So ONIE is pre-installed. Choose your NOS, ship bare metal or with Sonic by Broadcom or IP Infusion OcNOS DC. That's the point. Really important. Top 16 ports are up to 24 watts. That means 400G ZR and ZR Plus ready. Competitors can give you 4-6 ports like this. Here, 16. Bottom 16 ports are 14 watts. Perfect for DACs, AOCs and SR/LR optics, for example. Each 400G QSFP-DD port can be broken out into smaller links, for example into 4x100G. So now the question is, would you use those 24 watts ports for AI fabrics, Telco Edge or Cross DC? Now the DBS. What's DS? It means BMC, Baseboard Management Controller, remote reboot, monitoring, firmware updates. Think of it as a second brain for your switch. So you can reboot, check thermals or update firmware remotely, even if the main system is down. So would you rather save your Sunday or bring a sleeping bag to the data center? So let's talk about where we can use it. Not for small offices, not for home labs. This is built for scale. AI ML clusters where GPUs floating east-west traffic. Cross DC interconnects with ZR optics stretch fiber across kilometers. Multi-tenant DCs, visibility and automation keep chaos in check. Telco Edge, replace WDDM shelves with coherent optics. Hyperscale fabrics where latency is money. So where would you deploy it first? So Trident4-X11 inside gives you an advantage. What's kind of an advantage? Deep buffers, so no drops under stress. Telemetry hooks, real-time visibility. Programmability, tailor forwarding. And huge FIB tables, IPv6 at scale. And here's the real-world part. If you want to run VXLAN on your spine at full scale with no shortcuts, Trident4-X11 gives you the headroom. That's where control matters more than raw speed. No surprise, it's one of the most popular data center switches, not only this year. So Tomahawk, drag racer. Trident 4, Formula 1 with telemetry on every wheel. So which engine do you want in your data center? And don't forget the back of those units. Here we have the redundant power supplies. In this case AC, but DC options are also available too. What's more, 6 fans total, 5 active, 1 spare, all hot-swappable. Why does it matter? Because when one fails, you don't panic, you don't shut it down, you just swap it out and keep going. Like changing a tire on highway without leaving the fast lane. And remember the airflow? This version, I mean DB version, is front to back. You can spot it by the red handles on the fans and power supplies. Prefer blue? In DBS version we have back to front option of airflow. Either way, there is a version that fits your rack setup. Alright, time for summary. Don't worry, no boring PowerPoint slides, just the big picture. You can choose front to back or back to front airflow, just deciding how the air moves through your data hall. You can run it on AC or DC power, depending on how your racks are built. And you can go with or without BMC, depending on whether you need that remote control. Different setups, same build. Honestly, they are looking the same from the outside. Built to handle the real pressures of a modern data center. And the story doesn't stop here. Edgecore is already working on the next step, the Trident4-X11C version. Imagine the same switch but with the 24 watts on all 32 ports and even direct liquid cooling as an option. That's like upgrading from a high-performance car to a race car with a custom cooling system. At STORDIS, we don't just hand you the keys. We test the gear, we ship it the way you need it. Bare metal, with Sonic or with OcNOS. And when it's running in production, we stand behind it with 24/7 support and next business day replacement. Because when your network is mission critical, you don't just buy hardware. You choose a partner you can rely on. The difference between driving alone and having a pit crew ready at every turn. That's the AS9726 32dB and dBs. Solid build, serious power, real flexibility. But here's the truth. This is just the beginning. The next box? It might be faster, smarter, maybe even stranger. And we will open it right here, together. So are you curious enough to see what's coming next? If you are, hit the subscribe button, stick with us and you will always be the first to know when we crack open the next box. Because here we don't just unbox hardware, we unbox ideas, we unbox the future of networking, piece by piece, port by port. Open the box, open the network.